Morning Viewpoint for this Thursday morning, March the 19th, 2026. I'm your host, Randy Williams. How do you feel this morning? Certainly hope your morning is getting off to a good start. 334-875-1490 and 1492 are the numbers to call if you have comments or questions. And you can also join us on our youth on the selmapostherald.com YouTube channel. Let's go to the phone line. Viewpoint, you're on the air. Good morning. How are you?
Talking about how the mayor needs to, among other things, clean up at the corner of Jeff Davis, or what used to be Jeff Davis, J.L. Chestnut Boulevard, and Broad Street. And I agree with him 100%. In the past, I've called Viewpoint and talked to the listeners about how the present mayor at that time would not even tell them to get the cars off the sidewalk, which I'm sure that there is a law that says you're not supposed to park your cars on sidewalks. And as of yet, except for maybe a few cars being removed from the sidewalks, that place looks like the ultimate junkyard in Selma, Alabama. Well, my friend said that he thinks, among other things, that the mayor, since he has or is about to give the state of the city address to talk about what he should have done or has done, which I don't know what that would be, but he needs to, among other things, clean that place location up. First of all, I don't think that that's any place for the kind of dealership that he's got there, because it literally looks like a junkyard. I don't know who would buy those cars except for a junkyard. So I agree with my friend 100% that that should be one of the top priorities, is for him to clean up that location, and there are several other locations that he mentioned in that article. But another thing, I've got a fairly new car, and when I'm coming down Franklin Street right there at Highland Avenue, or coming out of Walmart, there is a hole so deep that it feels like it's going to bust my axle half in two, because you can't see it until you don't run into it. We need, and this is something that I've been saying for the last 2 years, we need the streets repaved and the potholes filled. And I don't mean filling with bumps, I mean fix them. And if the mayor wants people to think that he's doing something, he needs to get this done, and we'll be able to see that it's getting done. I'm not knocking the mayor. I just want to know when something is going to be addressed. We've been told by the past mayor that they had several $1 million in a fund to work on this stuff. And when is it going to come to fruition is what I want to know. When are we going to see some results? Years ago, when we had mayors, they would get these streets paved every year if they needed to be paved. I know it takes money, but they got the money, and I think the present leaders of our community can do the same thing. And that's my view for this morning, but I think that something needs to be done, because we have to live in this city, and we would like to see a city that we can be proud of instead of a city that we're ashamed of. I appreciate it, Randy.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you so much. And I share his concern. I know a lot of people are concerned, but it seems like somewhere in my memory, I heard uh, Mayor Moss say something about the money that the caller just referred to, and they may be getting ready to do the work. Well, I guess we'll just have to wait possibly until Monday to see what Mayor Moss has to say. But yeah, we still have some pretty rough potholes. Some of them are border on being sinkholes, and this is not something that just started. We've been dealing with this for several years now, and so I share his concern. And I've had a couple of I've had a couple of I've hit a couple of bumps that I know shook something loose. I, you know, and the last whatever it was that shook whatever was shaking loose, uh, put put one of my vehicles temporarily out of commission. so so you're preaching to the choir. It can get to be pretty rough, but I hope that we can. Um, when I but Marion, it was really amazing to me. Marion, Alabama, right? And I think that in Uniontown, I believe Uniontown is having some roads resurfaced also. But in Marion, they have their own. They do their own streets. They brought the equipment that they needed, and obviously got the drivers trained to be able to use the equipment. And I understand that Wallace Community College Selma is in the process of. I think they may already have the courses for that to teach people how to handle that, to be qualified to handle that equipment. And so uh, hope if Marion can do it, and they've been doing it for a little while now, I don't know why we couldn't. Marion doesn't have the same, or shouldn't have the same financial resources that we do, but simply because they're smaller. But now, and this is where I give Commissioner Albert Turner Jr. credit, because he is Perry County's number one cheerleader and lobbyist, and he goes after that money. He finds a way to shake the money loose off the tree, and Perry County, as a result, benefits from it. And so, as the county commissioner, and so obviously somebody had enough foresight and vision to purchase the road resurfacing equipment, not pothole fillers, but to resurface the whole road. You know, and so it wouldn't cost as much, I wouldn't think, if you have your own equipment. Although I did mention it to a previous mayor, and that mayor said it was too expensive. And it's one thing about it. When you're in those positions, when you're the mayor or the president, you have information. They have information that we don't have, and so I don't try and second guess people on authority because I don't have all of the information. And so I'm not going to try and second guess that particular mayor. He may have been right. Maybe we were not in a position where we could make the investment. And so, and the same is true with our president. I hear a lot of criticism and second guessing about what Iran was or was not going to do, but he has information we don't have, and he has classified information that is not going to be shared and should not be shared with the general public. But I have common sense in judging from Iran's past history and their past behavior and their current behavior. I think they may have bit off more than they can chew this time, because here recently they have, I think overnight and yesterday, they targeted Saudi Arabia and some of the other Middle Eastern energy fields and gas fields. So now what they will do, probably what will probably happen, and this is just an educated guess, that those Mid East countries that they have attacked, they have now brought them into the war. So Iran will be fighting uh, with less than, it sounds like, about 10% of what they previously had. 90% of the military and offensive capability has been destroyed. So they're going to be fighting the United States, Israel, and who knows what other Middle Eastern, because the Middle Eastern countries, the Arab nations, are not going to allow Iran or anyone else to just bully them. So we'll see. I suspect it won't be long. I believe they've bitten off more than they can chew. But my point is that the president is briefed on a daily basis and maybe even hour by hour when it comes to international affairs, and he knows more than we do about what is happening overseas. And it sounds like from some of the other sources that it's a good that he made a move uh, so that we would not, so that the United States would not be in a defensive posture. And so it's pretty serious, and Iran has proven it. They prove it, and so when if a nation like Iran, who blatantly has said death to America and death to Israel, well, that speaks for itself. That tells you right. That tells you what they think and how they feel about this country, and they have proven. I don't know how many soldiers have been injured and killed by the improvised explosives that are planted in the roads and so many other attacks that have taken place. And have we forgotten about 9/11? We have some of us have a selective memory, and so we'll just have to be patient and let this play out. But I think that if Iran can be contained and prevented from their nuclear weapon ambitions, well, you can't stop the ambitions, but you can stop the work. Then I think that we will be in a safer world because they are bent on Armageddon, the end of the world, and they want to take us out. They want to take all the infidels out. I'm an infidel, y'all. Now for extreme Islamists, ooh boy, no telling. I'll tell you what, I won't be traveling to Iran or the Middle East anytime soon. I can tell you that. Not as an infidel. Uh, I may come back. Who knows? I wouldn't. I may not come back. Might not be able to come back because if I'm not decapitated or mingled, you know, uh, or set afire. And you think if somebody says, "Oh, he's exaggerating," yeah, right. Just wait and see. We've already seen what they'll do. That is just the way they do. And then what the other thing is, uh, I know we know that women do not have the same kind of rights in Iran as they do in the United States. Simple as that. They can't even. There've been women who have been killed and raped because they didn't cover their head properly. They didn't cover their face, and we want to glorify and uphold that kind of behavior. I don't know, folks. Viewpoint, you're on the air. Good morning. How are you?
I just wanted to say that I don't necessarily agree with your perspective about the Iranians. I feel that everybody should be able to live their own life. I don't know.
So you think it's all right for them to torture and kill women if they don't cover their face? And what about the groups that target females and kidnap and kill and maim because they're getting an education? They don't want them to have an education. They don't want them to be able to read and write. You think that's a pretty good practice, huh?
Well, I don't agree with everything that these people do, but I do feel that people have a right to make their own, their own directions.
No, I think you're absolutely right, but that's the problem. We have just witnessed within the last 90 days, according to news reports, approximately 30,000 Iranian citizens who were trying to who would like to have a democratic society or a choice and who leads them. They were murdered, massacred. 30,000 people. They won't let their people make their own decision about how they want to be ruled. That's the point. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Well, you know what? I have personal knowledge. Let me put it to you like that, and because I'm pretty well traveled and have met a lot of folks in other places, and I have met some extreme Islamists that would chop your and my head off. Yep, and they would force Armageddon, but they have a death wish. They'll commit. Those are the suicidal type bombers that are being groomed. Yes, I believe it. Yep, I've seen it. I've seen them. Who were your neighbors?
We start looking at this area that's going out throughout society.
You mean when you were in Milwaukee? You know, well, because now Michigan has has one of the largest Islamic communities. Now all of Islam and all Muslims are not the same. You know, it's those who have those extreme views, and those are the same people, you know, the same kind of folks that can be influenced to kill themselves, to commit suicide, strap on a bomb, and walk into a market and blow it up, and everybody with it, including themselves. Huh? Well, well, I don't know if I don't think they don't have the right to take somebody else's life. They can take their own, yeah, but you don't take 100 people with you. You know, but no, I know what some of them think that when they commit suicide, the men are promised 20 virgins are going to meet them in heaven and look after them. 20 virgins, and they can make love with all 20 of them for as long as they like. That's what they're being. Some of them are being promised. Thank you. Have a good day. All right, 334-875-1490 and 1492 are the numbers to call if you have comments or questions. And as I was ending the last hour, I was just getting ready to mention that Selmont Incorporation meeting. This is for the community to participate on Monday at 6 p.m. at the VFW, 299 Kings Bend Road. That says the meeting will be a chance to learn what incorporation means for Selmont, ask questions, share your thoughts, and be part of decisions about your community. They want everyone to come, neighbors, families, seniors, and young adults. No special knowledge is needed. Just come and listen and be involved. And again, your presence makes a difference. The future of Selmont depends on the people who show up. If you have questions, feel free to reach out. That is Monday, 6 p.m. at the VFW on the Kings Bend Road. Viewpoint, you're on the air.
Good morning, Randy.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing good. I don't understand what point she was trying to make. I didn't understand her whole point of thought there. But anyway, I was listening to our illustrious representative from our Dallas County talking about how they don't want to fund the Department of Homeland Security. They want to get rid of ICE, but she's saying that she wants to fund the Coast Guard. It's amazing. They brought all these people into this country on purpose. And we shouldn't be surprised if they don't want us to send them back. And that's the whole thing that they want to get rid of ICE for. We need to get rid of our representatives that are voting against this country. How in the world at this point in time we're going to let TSA, the Coast Guard, and all these other agencies that fall under Homeland Security, we're not going to fund them because we don't like what ICE is doing. And, it goes back to tell you that the whole point of bringing all these people in, they think they're going to vote for them and they will stay in power. They don't care about this country. They care about their own power. We need to get Terry Sewell out of there, and we need to get some folks that aren't as one-sided. Because every me she votes for the Democratic viewpoint every time. It doesn't matter what she would never be considered this side of an issue. We got to keep calling this out because they're putting our lives in danger.
I won't be surprised that I think that they may have shot themselves in the foot for the midterms because there are thousands of people who are trying to fly out, and the video that I've seen on the long lines of people uh, that are having to endure waiting 3 and 4 hours to get up to catch a flight because security is not in place and they're not being paid. I think that's going to come back to bite them on the butt in November.
For sure.
Or at least I hope. I hate to say it. I hope it does because if you're gonna be irresponsible in positions of leadership and authority, in this regard, first of all, as we know that every poll, even from sources we don't trust, they all acknowledge that 70% of Democrats, 90% of Republicans, and 80% overall of the American public want this voter. I think voter ID is good, and that's what, and the immigration thing. They want the borders closed, but it's the leadership of the national leadership that's being influenced by the left of the Democratic Party that is, like, as you have pointed out, they all they're interested in is power.
Right. They don't care about, if you take a strong line in the sand and it's about what's best, what you think is best for the people of this country, that's one thing. But when you draw a line in the sand on what's best for you, what's going to keep you in power, what's going to keep your party in power, and damn what happens to the people here, I've got a problem with that. And, that's not political. Political is when you take a stance that's on one side or the other, what you think is best for the country instead of what's best for you. And we just got to get back to common sense. I just really get pretty frustrated with what's going on, and we don't hold them accountable. We don't hold them accountable for these stupid votes. And these judges, this judge has now stopped everything that the people who RFK hired. The Supreme Court ruled against him in one setting, and he never reversed what he was doing, and he didn't pay attention to what the Supreme Court told him. Now, these judges, I don't understand why we let them have so much power. But we love to swat at flies, and what's the old saying? If you swat at flies, the elephants run over you. We're paying attention to all this garbage that's out there and not paying attention to the major things that keeps this country, what made this country great. Freedom, freedom to go out and work and to provide for your family and to learn, to grow yourself. We've lost all that, and it's all about what's good for the moment. But anyway, look, it's going to be a beautiful day, man. Get out and play.
Yeah. Or in my case, I may have to get out and work. I have to take advantage of this good weather while I've got it. Thank you. Do the same. Thank you so much. Viewpoint, you're on the air.
Good morning.
Good morning.
First things first. The Democrats have proposed 4 times to pay PSE for other departments in Homeland Security, Coast Guard. They wanted to allow that. But the only thing we wanted is for ICE agents to follow the law, like every other law enforcement agency in this country. I'm talking about police, FBI, ATF, all that. Now, they put a bill up there 4 times to pay these people. And the Republicans shoot it down because they want to protect the tactics that ICE agents are doing, which is against the law. Rushing people out of it became American citizens. They want to stop that. And Republicans, they don't want to do that. So for you to sit there and for this guy to sit up there and volunteer soil for one vote for the these people in the Republican Senate. So how is that our fault? And you want to get her out of office when she brought more money into this community than anybody ever else will. I mean, you just make it make sense to me.
Well, just like you, he has a right to his opinion, and anyone else has. They have a right. People have a right to their opinion. That's why we have the voting process, and that's also why we have secret ballots. If a person decides that they want to make their intentions known politically, that's a personal choice.
The way many years ago, it's just when putting out information like that, when it's false, I'm just looking for
What's false?
The information is false is that they don't want to pay these people. The Democrats don't want to pay these people when they didn't put up.
Well, they're not voting for it. They've admitted. And matter of fact, I heard one Democratic come out of her mouth. One Democratic congresswoman said, "Yeah, we know we're hurting the people, but we got to do what we're using this as leverage to get what we want." And that's not the first time that I've heard them say that.
No, it's not getting what they want. They're getting what the American people want.
No, that's not what the American people want, according to the polls. 30% of the American people, not the 70 or 80% of the American people want this thing done.
Randy, you quote the polls right now, and let me quote you one.
Go ahead.
65 to 70% of the people of the United States of America do not agree with what I want. So that means like 30 to 35% agree with it.
Look, I compliment the Dirty Tricks Department. They're really good at manipulating the narrative, and I say that as a professional. I know exactly what they're doing, and you fall right into the trap.
All right, so I'm going to be watching TV for the last, 4, 5, 6 months. You can tell me all of this stuff actually going, bringing in people out of the election service and this and that.
Quite a bit of it is called political theater. And so, and I understand that. Well, look, I'm getting ready. Got to get ready to take this break. Let me let you close and start and make a closing remark.
You know what I'm saying? There's like I said, there's like 35% of the people that don't know what I do. There's 70% that don't agree. Only thing the Democrats want to do is go ahead and have ICE follow the same rules that any other law enforcement agency in this country. That's it. And like I said, 4 times they try to go on to pay people, but the Republicans said no. They're not going to do it. So how are you going to blame the Democrats when the Republicans is the one that's going to put the bill on the floor and get voted on?
We'll just have to wait until November to see who the American public will assign blame to. I'm only one vote.
Yeah, we'll get flooded.
Well, I don't know. I don't have a crystal ball. I can't see into the future, so I don't know. All right, thank you for calling. Let's take this break, and I'll be back with more right after this.
We're with Barry Parker at Reliable Chevrolet and GMC, celebrating 80 years of being in business. Not only the best in quality Chevrolet and GMC products, an outstanding selection of pre-owned automobiles right now on the lot, Barry.
And George, don't forget about our service department, one of the top service departments around. And, we're coming out of the winter months, and we talked about, winterizing your car, but now it's more important because the warmer weather means you're going to be using that air conditioning, so you may need to get it charged. Hey, also you're getting ready to head out for vacation time, so you're going to need some new tires, new brake pads. Whatever you're driving, whatever you need, we can take care of all your service needs right here at Reliable Chevrolet GMC.
Don't forget now, the only service work that you can't perform here at Reliable are non-GM and Chevrolet brand automobiles that include warranties and recalls.
That is correct. We can do all your regular maintenance right here, so we invite you to come by. Give us a call at 872-2337. Speak to Eric or Dylan or Lee. They'll set you up and get you in and get you all taken care of. And George, tell them what happens when they get to that 5th oil change.
Well, for every 5th oil change at the Reliable Service Department, it is absolutely free. And it's not just one vehicle per family. You can bring each vehicle that you have for service at Reliable, and for every 5th oil change, it doesn't cost you one thing.
Not one penny. I love that word free. So come by and see us right here at 14th and Orange Street in downtown Selma, right across from the post office. Phone number again, 872-2337, or check us out on our website at reliablegmc.com.
Everybody loves those body plants when it's time to do the gardening thing. Thomas Reeves and the co-op store have a bunch of them. Body plants are a big seller for us. They're a great product. Come on down to the co-op for all your body plant needs. We will have the sale going on this year, March 13th through May 25th. All 6-packs, 4.5-inch veggie cups, 9-pack flowers. They'll all be mix and match 5 for $20. Just come on down for any of your body plant needs at the co-op store in Selma. Everybody's welcome at the co-op. Ladies and gentlemen, we are visiting with David Halsey at APS Outdoors, formerly Alabama Power Sports. Jan done kicked him out of the house, and he is saying, I can't stand any more retirement. I got to go back to work.
Well, I tell you, George, you can't just sit around and not do anything. We've been used to getting up and getting at it every day, but hey, we're back open, ready to serve you in every way that's in our category.
Well, the good thing about it is you're carrying the bad boy line of quality mowers. You got them in all sizes.
Yep, we got them all sizes. Also have some units that are at some scratch and dent specials. So come on, see us and see what kind of deal we can work up on ever what you need to cut your place, whether it's a little small yard or 10 acres. We can take care of it.
All here at APS Outdoors on Citizens Parkway. As David always said,
come on and see us.
When you need a tow, call a pro. Robert Turner at Al's Towing and Recovery. 874-9808. That's 874-9808. For Robert Turner at Al's Towing and Recovery.
1490 WHBB. On these ICE agents, kind of puzzling to me that we would ask people who put their lives on the line and are at risk when you're dealing with a lot of these drug cartels in South America who have put contract hits out on many of the ICE agents. Why would we want them to not be able to conceal their identities from the general public? That doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. And to me also, sometimes perception can be greater than reality, to what it actually is. I don't know to what extent it's true, but the lobbying efforts to defund ICE, to me and to many others, translates into we want open borders. We don't want to be able to enforce our immigration laws. And so now we're scrambling, and we've got all of our not all, but we have a lot of our law enforcement agencies having to spread themselves thin to try and anticipate and prevent terrorist attacks. And the last week, we've had several of them that have taken place, lone wolves possibly, or possibly individuals that have been activated. They think that sleeper cells are being activated in the United States. And, nobody's going to really care about that until it hits close to home. Somebody that they know or love or related to gets injured or killed. Then we'll hear the outrage. But I'm like, the old saying, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. Viewpoint, you're on the air.
I just want to take a bang. A lot of stuff that you're talking is just really, that's not going to go anywhere. Because we really do need I would like to invite people to listen to the what is that man's name? His name is, Wayne about here? The actual, this is for me that let me know that you sober and this world and what his name was a crazy man. Mr. Trump.
I don't know who you're referring to. I don't even know what you're talking about. Huh?
Our president, Mr. Trump.
Oh, okay.
What they got going on?
Well, look, I got to get ready to take a break. Let me let you make your closing remark.
Well, I realize that what they got going on. That man is a crazy man. Thank you.
All right. Thank you for calling. Let's take this break. I'll be back with more right after this.
Do you suffer from fatigue, leg cramps, weakness, or pain in your legs when walking? Do you often have to stop and rest before you can continue? If so, you could be suffering from PAD, peripheral artery disease, blockages in your circulatory system. It may be time for you or your doctor to get in touch with Alabama Vascular Specialists. AVS is growing and serving our area with the most advanced vascular surgery and treatment available today. Dr. Ralph Red, Dr. Irwin White Giddens, and Dr. Richard Tan are changing lives for the better when it comes to the vascular health of their patients. Other factors include high blood pressure, diabetes, obesity, smoking, and high cholesterol, all big contributors to poor circulation and vascular problems. Not to mention family history. AVS can help put you on the road to recovery. Offices in Montgomery and Tillman. Call 334-801-9952 and online at alabamavascularspecialist.com.
Yeah, we got them at Meadows Tire and Automotive. A huge selection of tires in all styles and sizes from top name brands like Hercules, Kenda, Michelin, Goodyear, and others. Plus, we're your auto repair shop too, specializing in brakes, oil changes, alignments, suspensions, and more. Service, quality, selection, and more. We got them. Come see them. Our deals you won't believe them. Meadows Tire and Automotive, 2897 Citizens Parkway in Selma. Call or text us at 334-875-7276.
1490 WHBB. You know, one of the things that I don't like about the trends that I see in the news is I said earlier, I don't have a crystal ball. But, you know, a lot of the news agencies and organizations are doing exactly that, practicing creating crystal balls. We want to tell you what the future is going to bring as if we know, and we don't know. Now there are people who are students of history or students of political science that can make informed and educated guesses. And many of them are right sometimes, and sometimes they're not. History shows us that under the current circumstances, in the current power dynamics with the House and the Senate, along party lines, that the Democrats are supposed to win in November if the trend that happens sometimes happens. But they have gone, in my opinion, they may have gone a little bit too far in challenging the tide of public opinion. And so that may not happen this time when both all three branches of government, not all three, I'm sorry, all three, with the presidency, Congress, and Senate, the majority is Republican. We got a Republican president. The House has a slim majority led by Republicans, and the Senate has a majority of Republicans, but not enough to overcome the 60 vote threshold. If it was a vote based on a simple majority, the Republicans have the majority, but don't have 60. You have to have 60 votes in the Senate in order to be able to end the filibuster. So history says that when both houses are controlled when both houses and and office of the presidency are controlled by one party, that the next midterm, the other party usually wins one of those houses or both. So we'll see what happens. Viewpoint, you're on the air.
I really don't understand what you're looking at. I think they had like 20 to 30 special election states. And some got elected. And then we had to run out of them. Even in big red state where Trump's won. But people don't like what the Republican Party is doing now. I don't see how you can't see that. And the thing about it is this.
So you have a crystal ball too, huh? You need to call CNN and MS Now and some of these other groups and volunteer your services.
Well, all I got to do is just look at the trends. Like I said, in the last 20 years, special elections, Democrats won all of them, even in deep red districts. So you should look at the trend and see what's going on right now. And the thing about it is this, for one reason, the Republicans started doing this. They stopped the payments for the ACA. They keep from going up. I think it was going to cost about $30 million for to go ahead on and just do it for a year or so. We've already spent that over in our land. Now, what I heard this morning is they're going to go back to Congress and they want another $200 million to fight a war over there. They don't take it in attack us. It's a war of choice. So you don't forget that when you cut food stamps, when you cut Medicaid, and everything all over, and you spend over $300 to $400 billion on a war that is unnecessary. And the thing about it is this, people see this.
Well, before September the 11th of 2001, I would have agreed with you. But then 9/11 happened, and reality set in.
You think a man attacked us and land had nuclear and stuff and looked and see what we had to the United States of America?
Well, look, I'm not even gonna argue with you because it would be foolish for me to argue with you about whether or not Iran is the world's #1 sponsor of terrorism. That's been documented. I'd be a fool if I argued with you about that.
Well, actually, we are, and then Israel is number 2. Because everything that's going over there in the Middle East, the United States and Iran, all of the other countries, Iran did not attack us.
Why don't you move to Iran? Why don't you become an Iranian citizen since you love them so much, since you love their government so much?
I am an American citizen, I'm veteran.
They would chop your head off the moment you set foot on their land.
And when the government doing wrong, you're supposed to call them out. Now, you was all for the Iranians raising something against their government. But when we raised up against our government, here when we can't do wrong.
I don't see anybody mowing American citizens down in the street. I'm talking about the dozens and hundreds or thousands for disagreeing with policy. Where is that happening in this country?
So, we've been, people been in the street since we've been in office. But the first thing you call me.
Yeah, professional protesters who are being paid to be in the streets.
So-called free country in the world, you don't think they got a right to go out there?
You have every right. But no, I believe in civil disobedience. Do you understand what that means? I believe in civil disobedience. What do you believe in?
You call them rioting, protesters.
Anybody that throws a brick or burns a building down or starts a fire and incites a riot, yeah, they're thugs. They're not nonviolent protesters.
So why didn't you call them every 6 that day?
That's a dust up. I told you, I've seen rougher real riots. that was staged. But anyway, I'm not gonna go there with you. I'm not going down. I gotta take this last break. I am not going down that rabbit hole. You've had a couple of times you've called. Let me let you make your final statement.
Because you can't, man. You know this stuff is all wrong and stuff. You can't you can't agree with me, so you sit up there and bring up something else, this and that and all of it. They know it's just wrong. You say all that way across the country, and now you got kids and stuff that ain't got food for school and this and that and all of it. But you send all this money over there to kill people. You know that's wrong, man. Come on, just keep going here.
Well, again, you brought up a debate that we've been debating and have been in discussion since the 70s. You're about 50 years behind. Let's take this break.
Congratulations to Peak Insurance, recently voted Best Insurance Agency in the Summertime Journal Reader's Choice Awards. And a big round of applause for Lauren Adams, named Best Customer Service Representative. And for Chase Oopsie, voted Best Insurance Agent.
We want to take a moment to say something very important. Thank you. Thank you to our loyal customers who continue to trust us with your insurance needs year after year. Your confidence means everything to us. I'm Owen Peak. At Peak Insurance, we're proud to be the only locally owned independent insurance agency in Dallas County. From helping you choose the right coverage to standing by your side if you ever have a claim. We represent many great insurance companies, but we work for you. We're also honored to be the exclusive representative of Auto Owners Insurance in Dallas County, along with many other top-rated carriers. So once again, from all of us here at Peak Insurance, thank you for your loyalty and thank you for your confidence. Stop by and see us at 1003 Broad Street in Selma. Call today or visit peakinsurance.com. Peak coverage, peak service, Peak Insurance.
Banking the way it should be at First Cahaba Bank means you never have to worry about the season or the weather with online banking. It's always there and always on, 24/7, 365, even on holidays.
I'm Richard Walters, president of First Cahaba Bank, here to let you know that all of our online banking resources have been invaluable to our First Cahaba customers. Although our lobbies are open, personal and business customers have discovered how convenient and easy it has become to manage financial resources without having to come inside the bank. And all of our online services, including mobile banking app, are free. Visit firstcahaba.com to get all of the information, or feel free to call any of our locations in Selma, Troy, or Gulf Shores for any questions or information. Banking the way it should be at First Cahaba Bank means we are constantly focused on the very latest technology for customer convenience and overall satisfaction. We would love for you to join our growing community bank family. First Cahaba Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Have you been in to see us yet this year? If not, then why not? Most insurance companies require you to do an annual wellness visit. Selma Doctor's Clinic is here to help you with just that. Call us today at 334-874-9064 to make an appointment. Selma Doctor's Clinic would like to thank all of our new and existing patients for trusting us with all of their healthcare needs. We have Dr. Park Chittum Sr., Dr. Park Chittum II, Dr. Daniel Flower, and our nurse practitioner, Mary Elizabeth Schweitzer. They are all accepting new patients and accept most major insurances. We're located at 509 Parkman Avenue, just right off of Dallas Avenue. Call us today at 874-9064 to make an appointment, and walk-ins are always welcome. We look here in the office at the Selma Doctor's Clinic, where we are always here.
1490 WHBB. You know, when I was executive director for Campaign for New South in the 80s, we worked with Jobs for Peace. Jobs for Peace was an organization who advocated that too much money was being spent on militarization and not enough on social issues. That's been a debate that's been going on for a very long time. At one point, I was involved in that debate. The late Ralph Nader, I became pretty friendly with some of his relatives because they also worked in these areas with Jobs with Peace. And I traveled to Milwaukee. I think I was in Milwaukee for a week, in fact, working with them back in the 80s. This is 2026. I'm on a different level now, and I have a different viewpoint and have learned more since then. So when people, if you want to challenge me, if a person or a caller wants to challenge me on where I stand on some of these positions, you need to know that I am a former activist. I've marched in the streets until I found, until it was no longer necessary. I don't believe in fighting old battles. Viewpoint, you're on the air.
I apologize for calling.
Oh no, you're more than welcome. It's not a matter of, but well, I'm sorry, but you're more than welcome to go right ahead.
Your buddy is disingenuous to sit here and say that ICE is breaking the law, which is incorrect. They're not breaking the law. If they were, they couldn't be doing what you're doing. The only way they can't get rid of ICE except by defunding them. That's the whole reason. That's all they want to do. They want the guys to be able to have to show their faces so that their family's going to be at risk. They want them to go get a warrant on everyone to slow the process down and stop deportation. That's the whole point of what they're trying to do. If ICE was doing something illegal, they would have been stopped a long time ago. So it's disingenuous about that. And as far as Terry Sewell bringing more money here, what in the world happened to us pulling our own bootstraps up and working for what we've got? Why do we got to get a handout for everything? Why do we look for the government to bring money here, or Terry Sewell bring money here? Why can't we generate it on our own the way we used to do it? I hate handouts, but we've generated generations now that are so used to a handout that we can't do anything on our own. We have to get money from somebody else to make it in this world. And, that's part of the problem. And, but anyway, we need to set the record straight. All the Democrats are trying to do is to stop ICE. They can't stop ICE the normal way, so now they're going to try to defund it. And they've called all these other agencies up in it. And now people can see all they want is ICE to be stopped and to be disbanded. Because they want unimpeded refugees coming or people come from other countries so that they will vote for Democrats. And that's the whole point of it. So anyway, he just doesn't need to be telling stuff that's blatantly false. But anyway, look, Randy, I'm going to get off. You have a great day, man. It's a beautiful day outside.
Thank you so much. Thank you for calling. Okay, as we begin to wind down for the morning, the other term that I've been hearing a lot of, to build on really what the caller just mentioned and implied, public-private partnerships. Several years ago, I went on a trip to Chattanooga, Tennessee, with a local delegation of business people from Selma and elected officials. And we traveled to Chattanooga because in the 70s, Chattanooga had the reputation for being the worst destination in America. And they went from being the worst destination to being the number one destination as we came into the 21st century. And so we went to see what had Chattanooga done that there was such a dramatic turnaround in their position in terms of tourism. And it turned out that it was a series of public-private partnerships. It was that local entrepreneurial spirit and attitude that the caller just referred to, that Chattanooga was able to get out the box. Entrepreneurial in terms of being independent and not solely depending on the government to make things happen. Chattanooga, the citizens of Chattanooga and the business people of Chattanooga and the government officials were very intentional about identifying projects that they could do together to turn things around, and they were successful. It was not enough time to really go into all of the different things that they did, but and then even while we were there, they were build everywhere you turn. So they were building something. they had stuff going, so they were very entrepreneurial. Everybody doesn't think like an entrepreneur. Everybody doesn't have that spirit, the rugged individualism that the mayor of New York City says he wants to destroy. He wants you to depend solely on government. But anyway, you have yourself a safe and enjoyable day. Thank you for listening. Stay tuned for Fox News up next on WHBB Selma. I'll see you tomorrow morning, the good Lord willing, 6 until 8 for the Great Awakening, 8:05 for Viewpoint. Oh, yeah, Mr. Willie Calhoun, the guest tomorrow morning, running for sheriff.
Most intense yet for Operation Epic Fury.
I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News.
That is overwhelming force applied with precision.
War Secretary Pete Hegseth also said this morning the U.S. has hit more than 7,000 Iranian targets in this conflict, blowing up Iran's missiles and drones and